Alright, so I'll start a little bit different today. Today I'm planning a build. This is how I kind of make my plan for the build, like what I'm gonna do. Um, I was looking at the patch notes that just came out, and one of the items, I don't actually have it on my account, so I'm gonna have to farm for it because it's an area I never really go to. Um, but they added attack damage converted to life on Storm Totem. So I decided I wanted to do a Vitality Storm Totem build. And there were two options based on that item that dropped out, that came out, were um, Vindicator or Kabbalist, I believe, maybe. Um, Shaman and Necromancer, or Shaman and Inquisitor. And then just doing full conversion to the other stuff. So I was looking at some different things today. I've been thinking about it most of the day. So you don't get to see from the very beginning of my thought process. But this is the first one that I just threw together. Nothing's really considered. Like a just Dark One set seems to be one of the better things I can do for this build. Because it gives me +1 Wendigo totem, so I can have 2 Wendigo totems and 4 Storm totems if I play with this. I could have 5 Storm Totems, depending on which, if I use the, where is it at? The Celestial Son of Hakor or whatever, because it's 1 limit to Storm Totem. And it has Vitality damage, so it is actually pretty good for this build, with really high max lightning res. Um, so this is an option. The other option is the new, updated Mythical Peerless Eye of Baranath or whatever, which gives you a crap ton of offensive ability, and it gives your opponent negative offensive ability. Um, and that's, really awesome because that's like a free 110 defensive ability. Um, +1 all skills is really nice for this build because everything I've looked at this build, there's not very many plus to skills. Like, it doesn't have so many plus to skills from the way I've put this together. So the Dark One set is taking up these 4 sections. Your head, which gives you more damage to Wendigo Totem, and it has Wendigo Totem reduce target's damage, which is another layer of defense for this build. And this build's going to have a lot of max res. Like, it's probably going to have like 3% all max res, I believe, once it's all done. It's either 3% all max res or with some max res in different areas. But yeah, this gives me, quite a bit of OA and DA if I can put enough stuff on it, depending on my components. This is the weapon that got the update. It's Vitality damage to Storm Totem, and you take the other thing. And it also gives minus Vitality resistance to Word of Pain. And Flames of Ignifar becomes full Vitality as well, and Flames of Ignifar gives you attack damage converted to health, like bonus 10%. And all this gear naturally gives you about 21% lifesteal, or yeah, 22% lifesteal, so that's 32% lifesteal from if you can channel Flames of Ignifar on people. I'm not really sure I'm going to want to be channeling on this build. Like, I haven't decided how I want to play it. Like, if I just want to run around dropping things and running away. This ring is really good. Like, there's 2 rings here. Like, this ring is on critical strike, you get minus 15 vitality resistance. This ring is also on critical strike, you get minus 10 vitality resistance. That's another minus 25% vitality resistance there. This conduit is one of the ones I was thinking about using as well, because it's +3 max all res, a little bit to Word of Renewal. I need to put 1 more point into Word of Renewal with this build, because I'm just short of 135% move speed. It also turns Stormbox into a Vitality damage ability, and it makes it minus 15% more Vitality resistance. This one is just something for Wendigo. Like, I don't really have a good metal. So I looked at this one. This one gives me max res, and plus to Wendigo Totem, as well as the Toxic Gas. And Toxic Gas gives me fumble to attack and impaired aim, which I don't have on this build any other way. So that's kind of nice to have as another defensive layer. Serenity, not really a good relic for a Vitality Vindicator. So +1 all skills because I don't have very many all skills. Plus the save my butt ability. I don't know what pants to wear. Like, I need to look through all the different pants. This one looked okay with Blood Pact, with the offensive ability and pierce resistance, but I need to go through all the different pants again, and just nothing really seems good right now. These boots are probably our best boots because it gives us life leech resist, movement speed, physical resist, vitality damage, and Devouring Swarm. Devouring Swarm is kind of our main thing. It also gives us 30% chance when hit to reduce target's defensive ability, which is another way, basically 70%. It's like basically 70 more offensive ability in that way. This for the Storm Totem, I'm not 100% sold on this. It'll be really hard to get a good one of these because I'm going to want one with vitality damage or one with skills that I'm using, like Devouring Swarm skill or Devouring Swarm. And that's the basics of this basic rundown of the gear. There are some other ones that I threw together, like different rings, different devotions, I think. Yeah, this one has like some of the rare rings that are easier to get. This Wendigo Totem, Seal of Consumption. Seal of Consumption is nice because it's another attack damage converted to health, 10% chance on any attack. This one, Devouring Swarm and Vitality damage. This amulet is another one I'm thinking about using because with the Vindicator version of this build, I'm not using a mastery skill. Like, I'm not using any of the mastery skills right now. I might swap up a little bit and play a mastery skill because it gives me OA and sorry, it's late at night, I need coffee. But this gives me physical resistance and damage, as well as percent health. My Drogon's pack doesn't really help me so much, and it gives me vitality damage flat. So this is a really good amulet, and I can easily farm a good one by vendor scumming the blood vendor. So you basically drop a portal by the vendor and teleport out for like 13 seconds, teleport back in, check his new wear, teleport out, and keep going back and forth until you get a good one. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure I need the conduit. Because if I have the conduit, then I'm gonna play Stormbox instead of Flames of Ignifar probably. Which that's another thing. It's like, do I want to play Stormbox? Do I need another button to press? Because right now I'm gonna be pressing Storm Totem, Wendigo Totem, Word of Pain, Devouring Swarm, Word of Renewal, and these are my like rotational buttons. I'm just gonna be spamming these buttons. And just running around. If I had Stormbox, it's basically just it's a kite build with dots and other stuff. This will be healing me and reducing their damage. This will be healing me. This will be making them take more damage and slowing them down so it's easier to run away. This will be reducing their vitality resistance by a lot, like minus 59% vitality resistance is huge. This also heals me. This will reduce their vitality resistance and their defensive ability, so it's like adding bonus to crit if we do that one. This one gives me defensive ability and movement speed, of course. Flames of Ignifar gives me, like, this can actually reduce defensive ability, so it helps to crit if I channel it into them, and it has a lot of health back. I'm just not sure, like, with the way the build is kind of set up, it's like set up a lot of stuff and then and then just channel into them while everything else just burns them away, then reapply your dots and then channel them into them, is kind of how I was thinking about playing it, but I think most of the super bosses, I'd probably just be running away the whole time and just reapplying the dots and dropping new totems and just running around in circles. So I'm not sure Flames of Ignifar is even worth playing. Another thing, yeah, this is really good. If I this right here, item skill modifiers, is the best way to build your character. Like, to start from an idea, you just click on the skill you want to use and then work from there. But yeah, so this build right now is looking like this right now. It's only 40 points into Shaman and only 32 points into Inquisitor. Like, it doesn't go 50 points into either mastery. I actually want to drop these and up this a little bit because I want more speed. And see, this is using this, and the only reason I have Flames Ignifar here is to have this reduce target's defensive ability, because this is reduced target's defensive ability, and this is minus target's defensive ability. So they stack. So I can get effectively another 300 OA right here, just from this. This also slows the target, which I don't know if it's necessary. All this damage is converted to, what's it called? To vitality damage. That's the only reason I have the points in here. But yeah, Word of Pain is one of my big, like, slower enemy attacks, slow target, so they can't chase me. All this damage is converted to vitality damage through my thing, so all vitality, bonus vitality damage, and they get minus health regen, and they get impaired aim, and I get more, or they get minus resistance doesn't matter, but that elemental damage is more vitality damage. So this is a huge dot for me because this is all vitality damage. In Shaman, Storm Totem is all vitality damage. I get to drop 4 vitality Storm Totems, and then I get to drop 2 vitality damage Wendigo Totems, which heals me a little bit, does a pretty good amount of damage, and it gives me more attack damage converted to health with this. So if I'm playing a Channel Flames of Ignifar, I'm basically getting 50% of the attack damage converted to health for Flames of Ignifar, which I'm not, totally against. And this one's 5.4 seconds, so I got to recast this quite often to get this big buff. And same thing, this one is like 8 seconds. So I just basically pop these things, drop my totems first, drop these on the boss, and then just channel into them. Storm Box is another dot, so I'm not 100% sure on the play style I want to play with this. Another option here is basically dropping Storm Tether. If I can drop it down, just get one point into Storm Tether, and dropping Box down to, what is it, minus 73, and then pumping the rest of the points here to get more points into that. Where was it at? Paired. No, I want that one. Reducing that, and then getting this up to 12, because 12 is plus. This gives me 146 offensive ability and 15% physical resistance. This doesn't give me anything else though. That's the problem with this. Like, it's 22 points for 15 phys res and 146 offensive ability. This gives me fumble, but I have fumble on my amulet, or whatever item that was. Is it amulet? Yeah, amulet. I have fumble here for the amulet, so I have chance to fumble, chance to impair to aim. So, is it worth it to go that deep for? It's basically offensive ability and physical resistance, and I can get essentially the same amount of offensive ability by pumping into here or pumping into here. So I'm not really sure it's worth it. The other option is if I go the mythical Peerless Eye to get the offensive ability and the +1 to all skills. I would go no Storm Box basically. Drop out of this, go back down. Why? Oh, because I have points in there. So, and then dropping that down, and then basically just pumping up Flames of Ignifar to have big damage. And then having this as like kind of a defensive stat, like flat damage reduction with everything else. So I'm not 100% sure what I would do with that. Because with that, I'd also have to change some other things as well. Let's see, Peerless. So there's a lot I can do with this build. I'm going to probably speed level it up. Mythical Peerless Eye. Is this one? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna change this up. Drop these down one. This is already maxed. This is maxed. Drop this down to one. Inquisitor. Inquisitor's the same. I'm probably. Yeah. So this is what I would do with Peerless. And I would just focus on using Flames of Ignifar. Like channeling Flames of Ignifar. I wouldn't have Stormbox on here. I'd have the Gaze. Of course, I'd have Inquisitor Seal. And then just channel Flames of Ignifar. That's my big thing. My devotions, I'm not 100% settled on devotions. I don't really have any tier 3 devotions, I don't think. Well, I have Raitosh. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's tier 2, but I could be. No, actually, I think it is tier 3 because it doesn't give any bonuses. But this gives me another vitality resistance and life leech resistance and pretty big damage. I take this one specifically for the colors, and it gives me offensive ability, cast speed, energy regeneration, another safety ability with this. This is another heal me with a crap ton of damage because I do a lot of vitality damage. More vitality damage, and it gives me reduced RR. This one does not stack with the other one, but they proc differently. So, and the other one's a minion that attacks, so it's not always going to be hitting the things. So this one's nice, and this is another attack damage converted to health. Gives me a lot of attack damage converted to health. I also have Bat, which is more attack damage converted to health. And I get a lot of resistances from this. I'm thinking about swapping Crane for something else. Like maybe Crane for Lion. Because I think I have enough yellow. Yeah, Crane for Lion, and then using the other points in here to get 5% health and 80 armor. And more health regeneration percent. Since I've got Mugdragon's Pact. I also don't need Spider. Like I could drop Spider and take Raven for the OA or Hawk. I think I'd need one more if I do that though. Yeah, I need one more if I took Hawk. So I couldn't quite do that. I couldn't quite drop Spider for Hawk. But Hawk would be pretty good. Or I could drop the health regen from this, from Behemoth, and get Hawk instead. Just for the OA, like crit damage and percent OA. I'm not 100% sure on that. I've got Eel just here because chance to avoid projectiles, chance to avoid melee attacks. It's a small chance, but it's another layer of defense there that can help me survive. Other things I was thinking about picking up I was thinking about going for Dying God, for Hungering Void, or for Abomination, for Abominable Might. Because these are big bonuses to the damage, but and I kind of like having the lots of attack damage converted to health. That's what I was thinking about building with this build. This is again no components, no augments, just base gear. Let me think as Vanguard's Touch. Like if I were to go Shaman and Necromancer, this is the set I would use instead of Dark Ones. I'd use this set instead of Dark Ones. And I'd build around that. But I kind of want to try this with the Vindicator. Making a build without a mastery skill and not going to the end of either bar seems kind of like a fun concept to play. I'm just not sure if I want another Storm Totem or if I want this. This kind of seems good. The only problem with this is it doesn't give me max res. So I lose max res, which kind of hurts. But it gives me the minus OA. and it gives me a lot of OA itself. So this is basically giving me 2500 DA, 2450 OA. So that's a pretty big buff, actually, without any components or anything on my character. Gonna try to get closer to 3000 DA. I believe, actually, what is this? This one doesn't do it. This one, no. I must be going crazy. I'm thinking of something else then. Yeah. So, but this would make this super huge amount of damage, and I'd be able to just constantly keep it up. Thought I had something that reduced OA. No, just reduced DA. Okay, so I just have reduced DA here. No reduced OA. I thought I had reduced OA. But yeah, so I need to do something with the character to get more DA. Probably some components. Weapon components should give me a decent amount of DA, and helmet and rings, as well as the other stuff. I could probably get percent DA. If I'm gonna play the crit ones, I need to get, and I essentially have another 150 OA. So I basically have 2600 OA. So I need about 200 more OA if I can, somewhere on the gear. So rings, I'll probably go OA, like flat OA and percent OA on the rings and necklace. And then on the weapons, maybe DA or something, or weapons just damage. And then on the gear, if I can get all my resistances up, put just OA and health, or DA and health, and that should get me up, I hope, to at least close to 3000 on both of these. So I need, 500 more defensive ability and 400 more offensive ability with this. But I also need lots of poison res, lots of vitality res, lots of bleeding res. 15% over is fine, usually. Piercing res. And I need some stun res as well, but we'll see how I get that. On my other defenses, my phys res is really low on this build. That's the downside of not going. Like, if I went that Mogdrogan's Pack Necklace, plus I went all the way to the Mastery, that's another 20% physical res, so that would be 31% physical resistance. So that's a pretty big difference compared to what I have now. And rings, I could go living rings instead, because they give me percent health, and Word of Agony, again, is damage. The problem with going living rings, though, is I don't, it's harder to get good living rings, because I'd have to farm for living rings or look through my items and scan for living rings forever, basically. We'll see what I'm going to do. Next up, my next part of this is going to be me farming for this weapon here, and then farming for the Dark One set. I'm not 100% sure if I have which pieces I have, so I'm going to be farming these these 5 things before I start this character. And then that's it. So I'll see you guys next time with the farming video.